Yo.
You.
So it's funny. About a month ago now, I don't know when it was. We recorded a Nintendo Direct episode, thinking based off of conjecture, hearsay off the interwebs about things, and that's what happens sometimes. You tend to miss the boat on that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So our little direct preview that we gave out not too long ago was way off the mark. Um some of the stuff came kind of close to happening. Some of the stuff was way the fuck off. And but it is what it is. It's you take it with a grain of salt when it's a leak. And especially like one from Reddit, which
Right.
should have been our first clue that it was
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of what happens. In fact, I got to thinking about that and it was like, yeah, we kind of already knew that a lot of that was blown up and whatever. It is what it is. But we're going to talk about the actual Nintendo Direct that happened within the last couple days. We're here getting into the last quarter of the year. It's high time for Nintendo to kind of roll one of these out, and I know you've watched it. Richie watched it too. Rich will join us next time around. We'll make sure we get his thoughts on things that he liked, things he didn't like, things he's excited for, whatever. But I didn't watch it. I'll put that out there first and foremost. You did. I do have a couple of sites pulled up, a couple summaries pulled up, and a little bit of knowledge, just us talking off pod. So, man, let's go. Like what we won't go in order here. I figure let's just first thing top of your mind. What's the most exciting thing for you on this Nintendo Direct announcement?
So for me, it was Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. It was the last thing that was announced. It's looks like it's a sequel to the Three Houses, which was the first Switch Fire Emblem game. Out of there was only two if you count just the mainline games. There were
Mm-hmm.
a couple like Dynasty Warriors like games too, but this is of the mainline ones, it was the first one out of two. It showed Sothis, who's the goddess from the first one, or from three houses, and it showed some weapons and some enemies that are linked to three houses. So it looks like it should be in the same universe. Doesn't like I don't know the timing if it's a sequel or a prequel because there was a weird thing with her age where she was older when she was younger, kind of like a Benjamin Button situation going on.
Right,
Um,
right.
I don't know. It's real weird the way that they do the timeline. So it could be anywhere, in the timeline, but it's in that universe, it seems. So I'm very interested to see how that all falls into place.
Yeah, and the little blurb I have in front of me, and I think you've kind of obviously touched on this, but the teaser trailer ran a heroic games tournament. Is that
Yes.
so? That sounds pretty cool, like a cool concept to me. Again, I'm not a Fire Emblem person like you are, obviously, but I don't know. What did you think about the tournament idea with it?
I think it's cool. There's been in Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's kind of like a scaled down tournament that you could join where like you had very little control over it, but you would fight so many enemies in a row. Very simplified combat, and you could win different weapons and different like supplies and stuff. So I'm interested to see where they go with that. Like if you can take on with your team because it was 1-on-1 in three houses. So if you can take it on with your team and fight other teams, it'd be interesting. I'm the whole thing is just looks really good. I'm just really excited to see where it goes.
And correct me if I'm wrong. The notes I have in front of me show a release for next year on both the original Switch and Switch 2.
That I don't know. They didn't really say that. I'd
Okay.
be surprised if it comes out on the Switch One
Yeah,
because
I have the notes. This is the notes in front of me. I don't know. It's culling from a couple of different websites here. Again, I could be wrong. So just we'll say take that with a grain of salt. I'll say this: definitely Switch 2, possibly original Switch. I don't know as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even consider the fact that it might come out for the Switch 1. That's
And there's a few titles that I have on my list here. Like I said, I have a kind of a summary that's built here that have that designation for both systems, and some of them make sense based on time of release. Being that they might be like more current, like this year, still coming out in 25, but anything in 26 that kind of surprised me as well. So we'll see. I mean, very possible. And the reason why I say that, I'll throw this one out there just as a comparison of that thing. The announcement of Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, that one shows a release date of this year, but only for the Switch 2.
right. And I think that one's only on the Switch 2.
So
I don't believe that we're getting that for a Switch 1 just due to the hardware requirements. I believe it was announced as a Switch 2 exclusive back when we started getting all the Switch 2 news.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So well, it's kind of like you said. Take whatever I say with a grain of salt on the Switch and Switch 2 concurrent releases, but right now that's what it shows for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, is that it's showing a 2026 release for both. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. I'll be interested to see if they can pull that off on the Switch 2 or on the Switch 1. So.
But yeah, so that's a huge first party announcement for Nintendo. There was a Metroid Prime 4 announcement finally, right?
Yes, we finally got the date for that. That's going to be December 4th. So there's your holiday game.
So that one again shows both, and this is what I was going to allude to on the other side of this. Whereas Hyrule Warriors shows Switch 2 only, Metroid Prime 4 shows both Switch and Switch 2 on December 4th, 2025, which makes perfect sense because you're 3 weeks prior to Christmas. So,
yes,
I mean that's your moneymaker right there for your Metroid fans for Christmas time.
Oh yeah. And so you didn't see it, but there's a motorcycle.
Really?
Samus gets on a motorcycle and is riding across the desert, blowing away enemies from her motorcycle.
Nice.
So I'm interested in that game. I don't know if I'll be like a launch pickup on that, but I'll be grabbing that at some point. The game itself looks beautiful. The game looks fun, and it's first person shooter, which not something I really thought that I would be doing on the Switch 2, but until Halo comes out, I'll be playing that, I guess.
You know what the insane thing for me with Metroid is that I'm still stuck in 1986 with Metroid. The original Metroid for the NES is still the only Metroid title I've ever played.
Really?
Yep. I've never played any of the sequels for any other systems, any other variant that you will. I've only ever played it for the original NES or the online service for the Switch. That's it.
See, now my first experience with Metroid was Metroid 2 for the Game Boy.
Really?
Yes. So I played it there first, and then I played it on the NES. But I've only played it very briefly on the NES. Like, even though I have the NES on, or the Switch Online, I still haven't played much of it on, But I would like to get into Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission and all that stuff. But yeah, my entry into Metroid Prime is going to be Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. It's like I think about it as we're talking about it. It's like I have, just as you said, like I have a whole series of games now that I could potentially go back to. Of course, system dependent and obviously money dependent too, if I could actually find them. But no, it's the crazy thing. Like there's been so many Mario, Donkey Kong, whatever games, but Metroid, I've only ever played the original. I've never touched another single one. The least that I can recall.
Right.
And I say that, yes, I've played Smash, multiple versions of it, with these characters before. But as far as a Metroid game, yeah, that's it. So
interesting.
Other first party announcement though. So we have Metroid Prime 4, we went Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, we did a little on Hyrule Warriors. But there's another huge major first party announcement. And I'm not talking Mario titles here. We'll get into that stuff.
Okay.
This is a big one. And I know you're again more the Pokemon guy than I am. But go for it.
So are we talking about the Legends Z through A DLC, or are we talking Pokopia?
Pokopia, or you can talk about the DLC as well. We kind of roll this together because to me they're both kind of major announcements for a first party.
Yeah. So I guess I'll hit the DLC first so I can get the negative out of the way. So this is one that I'm kind of surprised to see them announce DLC for a game that's not even out yet. That kind of took me by surprise. Especially, spoiler alert, especially considering we didn't get any announcement for any Mario Kart World DLC. But part of me thinks, okay, well, if you've already got the DLC planned and it's already so far done that you're announcing it and that it'll be available, they said, shortly after launch of the game, why isn't it part of the regular game? But at the same time, at least we're getting it. And at least we know about it. They've actually took the time and planned it. Unlike Mario Kart World, where we have no clue what's coming next or if there'll be DLC.
And I kind of want to hold the Mario stuff till maybe the end of what we talk about on Direct. And mainly because we're talking major 40th anniversary type stuff, right?
Right.
And so I have a thought on that as to reason why. So
okay. All right.
But you're right. Like, you don't know. And it's like, we talked about this off pod before we started recording, and it really made me think. It's like you have a title that was a launch title that is, from all accounts, a fairly beloved game. I've not heard much negative about it. And it's like you would expect at this point in the cycle that, yeah, like, of course they would have made an announcement with it. But we're not. Kind of odd. Right. But again, I have a thought on that, but keep going with Pokemon.
So then we get to Pokemon Pokopia, which is strange to say the very least. You play as a Ditto, which is a Pokemon that can take the shape of other Pokemon, that can take their forms and use their moves and everything. And so you find what looks like a broken Pokedex, and you take the form of the owner of said Pokedex. So where I don't know, where it gets kind of dark if you think about it too much, is does that mean that their corpse is right there and Ditto saw their corpse and just, took the form of their corpse? Or I don't know. I don't know how they figured out what this Pokemon trainer looked like, but they turned into him. And so they go about, and it turns into kind of like a mix between Animal Crossing and Minecraft, where you're basically building, you're building like a little town almost, and farming, and you're meeting Pokemon. And the more you improve the area, the more different Pokemon show up, and you can learn different moves to incorporate different things into it. So, like, the first Pokemon I believe you meet is a Bulbasaur, and the Bulbasaur teaches you how to make grass and how to cultivate plant areas. And then you meet other Pokemon that teach you different moves, that teach you how to do different things. Like you meet Pokemon that teach you how to till the soil. You meet Pokemon that teach you how to water the plants. You meet Pokemon that teach you how to make fire, that kind of stuff. And then as you improve the area and as you improve the environment and make it more suitable to different Pokemon show up. And you can build your little town and everything. And it looks very interesting. I don't know that it's something I'll play, but it's definitely an interesting concept.
Yeah. The way you describe it, it sounds like this could either be huge in that, I'm not going to say a flop. It won't be a flop.
No.
Has Pokemon title. Won't be a flop. But in that guise of what was the Happy Home Designer part of Animal Crossing? where I think it was it was a 3DS game. Like that
Yeah, the
aspect
Happy Home
where
Design.
you're building, you're doing that sort of thing. It's kind of what in that vein. I think it could potentially sit in that lane where it's like, it's beloved by the fans, but maybe not obviously.
Right, more like a niche.
Right. Not an A+ title, but it's still a beloved thing with your audience.
Right.
It's interesting though. I kind of like that. I like that. What you mentioned with it, the Minecraft part, and that's interesting.
Yeah, it seems like I said. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily up my alley, but there's definitely going to be a market for it, and it looks interesting enough that I think it could pick up people that are looking for the next Animal Crossing game. I think I know Peyton had said, and I wasn't expecting him to mention it at all, but Peyton goes, "Oh, that game looks really, really cool." So,
Yeah, I was gonna say that almost sounds like one that I think Katie would get into, because she really liked. That's why I brought up the home designer. That was one that she really, really, really liked, and I think that was actually her favorite variant of Animal Crossing. Moving on though, I feel before we talk about the Mario stuff, and again, I say that because we're getting into a big time with that, and there was a lot of major announcements there. We do have some other things, third-party titles. Then a shout back to, man, this is the first thing I thought of when I saw some of your notes, and the Virtual Boy.
yeah.
I mean, of all the things that I thought, well, they'll never revisit, holy smokes.
And not only, and this is where I think we're going to get into a discussion about pricing here, because the Virtual Boy, so you've got 14 games total over the lifetime of the Virtual Boy, because it was a flop. It was a rare Nintendo flop. 14 games. And they're going to be bringing them supposedly all to the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing too.
And so they expect you to shell out either $100 for a Virtual Boy that holds your Switch 2 or Switch 1 system, because it isn't just it's not just locked to the Switch 2. It can be a Switch 1. You can have a Switch 1 and play this. Or you can buy a $25 cardboard Virtual Boy. Now, honestly, I was considering the Virtual Boy before I found out the price, because it's cool looking, and I've always wanted a Virtual Boy. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But it's one of those things where, like, I've always wanted one. I've only seen them like twice, I think, in the wild, and it would just be a cool thing to have. Like,
Yeah,
on a shelf.
I knew one person that had one ever, and that was Matt Hill.
All right, that makes sense. That tracks. But like, I can't stomach $100 for what's essentially a piece of plastic and metal legs to hold my Switch 2 while I play one of 14 games that's guaranteed to give me a headache.
So, yeah, right, and really, like, you're looking at, like, I just pulled up the titles real quick. You've got a lot of Mario titles. I guess there was actually 22 total games released, but I would assume that the 14 that we're getting are the North American titles. I would assume.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
So you're talking 3D Tetris, a Mario Tennis game. I'm not going to go through all of them here. I'm just looking at maybe some of the main
Tellero
ones.
Boxing.
Yeah, Tellero Boxing.
Wario World
Land.
Or Wario Land, yeah. Land,
there is a baseball game in there.
Yeah.
Virtual League Baseball.
It's not good.
I don't know that they could release this one again, though. There's Water World. Is that like Waterworld, like
I don't.
tied to the movie, or is that
I
just
don't
a
think
different?
so. I could be wrong. I would be, I would be very surprised, but also not surprised at all to know that there's a Waterworld game for the freaking Virtual Boy.
Yeah,
That
it
would
looks
make
like
sense. It would be the only licensed game to come out for it.
No, it's just look, dude. I'm reading the synopsis right now, and it says that yeah, Virtual Boy, the game is focused on the Mariners' main character. Yeah, this has to be it. Yeah, the objective is to keep the smokers from grabbing the atollers. Yeah, this is man. I'm reading through this, and yeah, this is a movie title. This is it. This is a straight movie title.
And I can't imagine they'll re-release that.
No. Now here's the other thing though, and I was looking at it too. I was just genuinely curious. Do you remember the original price point of the Virtual Boy when it released?
Was it $249.99?
I am seeing it at $179.95. So all I'm saying is
That's almost as much as the fucking original.
all I'm saying is for like $80 less. Now here's the other thing too. The virtual now here's what I guess maybe I'm going to think that this is where so the Virtual Boy with what are you getting? Are you getting the headset? Is that what you're getting?
It does no, it's not even a headset. It has to sit on a table.
Yeah, right. The mask thing, right?
Yeah, it's just a mask thing on its stand because it never came with like a headpiece.
Right. But you don't get like do you even get the controller or do you have to use the Switch?
No, you use a Switch controller.
Man. Wow.
It's literally just it's a fake Virtual Boy. It's
I don't know. I'm looking to see if I can figure out let's see, online service. I'm really curious to see what games are actually coming to that. All it says is games are coming. So yeah, I guess it would be the 14 North American titles. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that they're bringing Waterworld.
Yeah, probably not. I'm looking at now. Yeah, $100, and it's just the headpiece. That's crazy,
right?
I'm not a fan of that.
No,
not a fan of that at all. That's actually something I never thought that they would revisit. And of all the things that you would revisit, why would it be that?
Right, and that's where I mean, like, look, we talked about it. Well, off the pod, and I think we talked about it on the pod a little bit, where maybe the Switch 2 is not gonna do what we thought it was gonna do. Maybe the Switch 2 is gonna be a failure because they're making so many missteps. Like to think, let's see, what could we do to entice people to buy Switch 2s? I know. Let's use one of our worst selling systems of all time, and we'll re-release all the games for it on the Switch 2. And not only that, but we'll sell an overpriced peripheral that you have to put the Switch 2 in to make it work.
It's crazy. We talked about this. What was the thing for the PlayStation that we dogged on hard?
The Portal.
The Portal. That's right. And from all accounts, that's not done well, has it?
No.
I mean, and we dogged on that so hard that it was like, and I think we kind of realized, that okay, this isn't going to be like, a nail in a coffin type thing, but it's just a bad move. Same thing here. Like, it's not a nail in the coffin type thing. It's just a bad move. But man, it just, like you said, it's like misstep after misstep after misstep. And I don't know. I don't know. I was a big fan of being able to get like the cool, like OG controllers that were, I got my Nintendo and my Super Nintendo, and I got my 64 controller, and I even have a Genesis one, but that's like the last thing I would buy. Like, there's no reason whatsoever for me to do that at all.
Right.
I
Well,
don't have it in me to be like, oh man, you remember that Virtual Boy game back in the day?
yeah, that one game that I could play without getting a headache.
Like, I
Like,
just, yeah.
hey Tom, they have Tetris. You gonna get the fucking Virtual Boy to go play Tetris?
Oh, man, sold me. I was kidding.
But no, man, and it doesn't stop there. Like they're pricing this cycle, I guess, is just so off. Even we were talking off pod again, the amiibos that they're releasing for Kirby Air Riders, $50
For an amiibo.
when these things launched. They were $12.99, and I
Yeah.
know that because I collected them. I was really hardcore into collecting them at first.
You could go to Five Below at one point in time, whenever you had a massive influx of these things, and typically find Animal Crossing based amiibos for $5.
Right,
I mean, it wasn't like uncommon.
right.
You know, those days are over. Now you're looking at actually, you know, it's funny you say that. I have one that's in a box. The rest of the ones I have are no longer boxed. The one I have in a box is Loot Goblin from Diablo. It was a GameStop exclusive. I wanted it because I'm such a Diablo fan, and I was like, that's the one I'm just going to leave alone. And I saw a loose one floating around like our local game store, which is very, very reasonable. Like they're very good on pricing. And it was $40 loose, and I was like, what is going on? Like,
Dude, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And you know, what is it? There's Metroid ones are coming out now, and the one where it's just Samus is $30. The one where it's Samus on the motorcycle is $40. And it's like they're not getting bigger.
yeah.
They're not getting any, they don't do anything. It's not like they hop off their little pedestal and do a dance for you or anything. Like, it's still the same little piece of plastic with an NFC tag. And they're getting up to $30-$40. It's just, it's stupid at this point.
All right. Other third party things though, was there anything third party wise outside of the Virtual Boy that we've kind of dogged on here and talking about the pricing of some things that they've announced, or not they haven't announced, but looking at the pricing of some things, other third party titles that may have interested you?
So a couple things. I think it's cool that Resident Evil Requiem, which is the 9th game, is going to be a timed exclusive. Or maybe I'm wrong on timed exclusive, but it's going to launch. If it's not a timed exclusive, it's a same day launch on the Switch 2. And it's coming out with Resident Evil 7 and 8, which is Biohazard and Village. Disgaea 7 Complete, which I'm a huge Disgaea fan, but it's coming out and it's a key card, so it can go fuck itself. So yeah, I won't be getting that. Dragon Quest has a lot of games coming out. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remaster is coming out, along with Dragon Quest 7 Remastered. So Dragon Quest 7 Remastered looks really, really good. I don't know if I'm going to try it or not, but I'm thinking about it. But aside from that, I did want to give a shout out to Richie for, I know he's going to want Danganronpa 2X2. That's coming out. And there was a game called Dinkum, which I don't really remember what it's about, but I know it's something to do with Australia.
Yeah, I saw a little bit about that. I didn't really get too much. Yeah, Dinkum. Basically, you're building a dream town that's inspired by the Australian outback. Kind of gives me a little bit of Animal Crossing vibes, you know, based on kind of looking at it. But it's 4-player online and you know, local co-op, which, you know, they're always fun.
And the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is coming out.
Yeah. I was going to ask you. I didn't know if you you know, had much on that. You know, I like the older Mortal Kombat games, which, so this is kind of up my alley with it. But, again, I don't know.
Dude, I'll probably grab it because it has every single game for like not just like the regular version. Like it has the Genesis version, the Super Nintendo version, the 32X version, the Game Boy version, the Game Gear version.
Okay, so it's like really loaded.
Right. And it goes hard. And I think it goes all the way up to 8, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Could go higher, but it has like so much to it that it's totally worth it. And I think it's pretty fairly priced too. So for what it gives you. It even has remember the shitty like spin-off games that were like 2D side scrollers?
Mm-hmm.
Like Sub-Zero Mythology and the MK Legacy or MK Legends with Jax and Sonya Blade. Like it has those games.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the lists now. Yeah, like you said, just of the original games like Mortal Kombat 2, talking about arcade, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy, and then the Game Gear version, even the 32X version of 2. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff on there. And then it dives down Mythology, Sub-Zero, Special Forces, and then a lot of these toward the end though for them were a lot of the Game Boy Advance titles. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'll probably snag that because it's just got so much in it, for so much for your buck. So
yeah, no, that's interesting. I saw that on there. I was curious on your take on that. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, seeing that as a Switch 2.
Which is cool, except for the problem is the Final Fantasy VII Remake that they're doing is broken down into parts. It's not the whole game. It's not the whole game of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and I saw that. It's going to be a trilogy remake.
Yeah, it's three games to get one.
Yeah, boy, they're really milking that one, aren't they?
Yeah.
And look, I'm not going to ever sit there and dog Final Fantasy VII on any level. As one of my favorite games, but yeah.
I've actually never played it.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it for the Switch. Actually, I bought it for the Switch, but I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I big fan of the original, and then I bought the remaster, remake, whatever the major initial remake was for the it might have been the Switch or the PS5. I don't remember. It's been released for so many friggin' systems and over and over. But whatever the first initial remake was, when they upped the graphics and kind of made it a lot prettier. No, it's interesting to see again. Yeah, kind of milking that one though. Before we dump into the Mario stuff, anything else that piqued your interest outside of that realm? Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC, right?
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I don't think I'm gonna get it. Just based on it doesn't seem like it's gonna interest me that much. I may snag it if it goes on sale, but it's Kong Island, and then there's some kind of roguelike to it where you're basically trying to smash as much stuff as you can in so much time, and then it resets. And if there's anything I hate doing in video games, it's the same thing over and over again.
Right.
So that I might give that one a skip, but we'll see.
All right, so let's get into the big announcements here, and this is how the whole direct was kicked off. Was basically tribute 40th anniversary. Got the Mario franchise coming up next year. But overall, you had several Mario related things coming out. I know though, before we get into it though, there was a couple things that I do want to talk about. One was a a lack of a certain title that I know you were looking for. And then I do want to get back into a little bit of a conversation on the Mario Kart discussion that we had earlier. So what was missing on your direct here?
So I'm gonna to talk about this. I'm gonna talk about the game that they did announce, and this is just how I have it written in my notes. Mario Tennis Fever, not Mario Baseball.
Yeah. This hurts me. This hurts me too. And I'm going to say this before you get into anything on this. I was not a fan of Tennis Aces whatsoever. Did not like that game. And which is a shame because at that point with where we were at with the Switch, I was loving everything about it. And then that one came out and I was like, ooh, not a fan at all. You know?
Yeah. I tried it. I didn't really have a whole hell of a lot of fun with it. Peyton and I did when we were playing, multiplayer. We had some fun with it, but overall, it just wasn't worth it as a package. I did not enjoy it, the single player aspect of it at all. And I've been ever since Mario Superstar Baseball for the GameCube. I've been hooked on Mario Baseball games, and the one for the Wii I didn't like as much. It was okay, but I don't like the waggle controls, motion controls.
You're right.
So I just didn't have much fun with the one for the Wii, but the one for the Switch or GameCube was amazing. So I guess at this point, my only hope is that at some point they announce that that's coming to the Switch Online service.
And it's funny too because the Wii, had a tremendous baseball game with Power Pros, so
Yes.
it could be done.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't. No, I saw that too, and it was like, just not a fan of the tennis games. I love tennis, and I love the Wii Sports has done tennis right, I think, in my estimation. So it's like it can be done right. And the Switch tennis and badminton as well, with the Switch Sports. Those games can be done correctly. I just don't know that, man, that the Tennis Aces was, to me, it just I just didn't jive with it. And the Tennis Fever announcement, reading about it, I'm like, I don't care.
yeah. I mean, the only thing that it gave us really is Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi. That's the only positive contribution that Mario Tennis Fever has given us so far. The adventure mode looks okay. But again, it's not something that I'm going to be rushing out to buy. Maybe if it goes on sale for pretty cheap, and by pretty cheap, I'm talking like $30.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely nothing that piques my interest. I do want to talk. We hit on this earlier. Lack of announcement on a Mario Kart World DLC, and here's my thinking on that, and kind of wraps around everything else we're about to talk about. Is that you've had a couple of, I guess, to your general audience, major announcements. And I think the timing, while it seems like it would be ripe for a DLC announcement, it is still a little soon if you look at how the DLCs were announced for the Switch with Mario Kart 8. So next direct, guarantee you they're going to do something. That'll be my thinking on this one.
I hope so, because already getting Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC, and like I said, with the Pokemon DLC getting announced and the game hasn't even come out, I'm a little salty that we haven't gotten any.
Well, and here's my other thought on that. Being that it'll dive into the 40th anniversary, I think it's going to be special. Like I
hope so.
I just have a good feeling about that. And what that is, I don't know. But I think that's going. I think they're holding that one. I think they're playing the cards close to the chest on that one. Maybe that's just me being a little optimistic, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Other Mario titles that you did have mentioned here, you had a Yoshi game. I would say it was probably good to mention that one first, kind of get that one out of the way.
Yeah.
Yoshi and the Mysterious Book announced for the Switch 2, scheduled for a release next year.
Yeah. It's got a unique art style, but it looks like it's pretty much a baby game for babies.
Yeah, no, a little bit I've seen about it. Yeah, not a all out there. It's kind of why I figured we'd just put that one aside.
Yeah.
You do have go for it, man, because there's a couple big announcements here on Mario himself.
Yeah. So there's a Switch 2 version of Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which the main focus seems to be multiplayer. They did say that there's going to be additional content as well, and they showed the Koopalings. So I'm hoping that's for the single player game. But they show a whole new area, which I think it's called like Bella Bell Park or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where it's all multiplayer stuff. So but it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to it. The original Super Mario Brothers Wonder was an amazing game. I can't say enough good stuff about it. I had a stupid smile on my face most of the time that I was playing it, except for the parts where I would get frustrated. And highly recommend it if you haven't played it. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands on the Switch 2 version. I'll be part of the problem of the people who are just buying the same game over and over because they announced a Switch 2 version of it.
And we talked about this too. They are additionally releasing basically a toy, if you will, or some kind. I don't know what you would call it. What's this wrong word these days? I don't know. It's toy or.
I called it a.
Yeah, the talking flower, right?
Yes.
So they're releasing that out there physically as an item sometime in the spring as well. So
because that's what I need is a flower that's just randomly going to say shit to me. I'll be sleeping, it's the middle of the night, and all of a sudden it's going, "Hi, I wonder what we taste like."
Now you're lucky you'd buy the one that was like the Krusty the Clown doll from The Simpsons that was switched to evil.
Yes.
Tonight I'm going to eat your soul.
Yeah, that's exactly what mine would get. That's the one that I would get. That's how that would play out. And then I'd smash it into a million pieces. But knowing Nintendo, it's probably going to cost $300.
And it's going to be a subscription to it.
Yeah, and if you don't subscribe to it, it just says the same thing over and over again. Dial the Nintendo Power tip line.
It's only to continue. It'll stop saying it's stuff after 90 days, and then it'll just pick up with to continue. Please pay $9.99 per month for.
Right.
It'll say that every day.
Yeah, and that'll be the only thing it says. And it just like the longer you take to subscribe, it'll just start saying subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
And it no longer lets you sleep, even when you unplug it.
Yeah, no, it's powered. It's actually powered by uranium.
Two more big announcements here in the Mario realm. We have a bundled collection of Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 that I have listed as coming to both the Switch and Switch 2, which makes sense because the release is next month. And then look, they'll up it a little bit. They're gonna enhance the visuals a little bit, maybe controls, maybe, I don't know. They're gonna do something, right?
They changed the controls so that I believe you can play it with the Pro controller, and then they made it so that it runs on the Switch 2, it'll run at 120 frames per second.
Okay, so there's your enhanced visuals then, basically.
But that's it. It's literally the Wii game. And they added some pages to Rosalina's storybook, which you can now buy as a real life thing. Is Rosalina's storybook? You'll be able to buy that in stores or on Amazon or wherever you choose to get your Nintendo related paraphernalia.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Just bite along with that flower, man.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe it can read the book to you.
you know, let's see. That might be actually pretty cool.
If they were smart,
Yeah.
it'd be the new Teddy Ruxpin,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
probably not gonna be.
No, because they don't sell anything that you can like. Teddy Ruxpin, you can put stuff in the back. Tapes. They don't do that anymore.
That's
So,
true. Well, all the cassettes are making a comeback, which pisses me off so bad. That's another topic for another pod.
yeah, we got one more really thing to hit on here that's huge. But any other game stuff though, because the next announcement, the last announcement, is not a game. So, is there any other game stuff that we missed or that you wanted to hit?
Not really. I think we've hit every. I mean, there were more games that they announced and stuff, but nothing that really, piqued my interest at all. So I say we just jump onto the main course here.
Yeah, main event. We got a we got a trailer too. Not very long. What it was like a minute.
Yeah,
I did
Let's
see this, but
teaser.
go for it. What do we got here?
We got a teaser for the next Mario Brothers movie, which will be Super Mario Galaxy,
Yeah,
releasing this spring.
yeah. We pan off to to space. I mean, which makes sense based on the title. I love it, man. It's cool. I really enjoyed the first one. I've seen it, gosh, 3 times now. It's a fantastic movie. I enjoyed it a lot more than the Mario movie we got when we were kids.
Yes, yes. I've taken shits that I've enjoyed more than that.
No, what do you? So, what's your take? Any thoughts on the little teaser we got here?
I want to see more from the little star, the one that was all depressed in the original Mario Brothers movie.
Oh yeah, Luna.
Yeah, the little Luna.
Yeah.
I want to see more from that Luna.
Do you? Okay, so now let's play a quick game of speculation here. Whether it's based on the trailer or what you know about the Galaxy games. Do you have anything off the top of your head that says, "Ooh, what would be a nice surprise or a nice addition"?
I don't know anything about the Galaxy games because I didn't play them. They're the games that I completely skipped because I hated the motion controls.
Right, which we've talked about.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I know that that's where Rosalina comes from. I know that that's where the Lunas come from. I know that you can be Spring Mario and B Mario and Boo Mario. I don't know. I'd like him to go to Philly, and that's how he becomes Boo Mario.